Hello guys, welcome to the core concept. Today we are going to discuss about this one geographic current affair part, India's climate imperative. I recently read in the newspaper. This topic is going to demand the question like how the atmospheric heat waves are getting affected the labor force participation rate, because the labor force participation rate is getting decreasing because of increasing the heat wave, especially in the heat wave prone zone areas. When we talk about the heat prone zone areas like Rajasthan, Gujarat, Delhi, the labor participations are more in this area. At the same time, more heat waves upcoming years, more contribution. The peoples are contributing more carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide and increasing the atmosphere. Because of this carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, the heat waves are generating. Because of that heat waves, the laborers are not able to participate in that particular heat wave prone zone area. There are various impacts because of increasing the atmospheric temperature. At the same time, that impact getting directly getting affected towards the lower income group labor participation rate, right? So today in this video we are going to discuss about only the three things. What is the heat wave? What how to identify the heat waves are getting increasing, and next one is impact. What are the impact which is produced by the heat waves, and the last part is we are going to give a solution how to handle, or how we are giving a suggestion to the governments to handle this heat wave. Okay, so in that catastrophic stage, we used to study in the oceanography. In the lesson of oceanography, we used to study about how the temperature of ocean getting increases, how the living habits of that particular ocean is going to affect it, because the coral reefs has to be maintained at the particular moderate temperature. Even the fishes and all the habitat which is present in the oceans, how to maintain at a moderate temperature. If the temperature increases, automatically the dissolution of the oxygens are getting increases. Because of increasing the oxygen, automatically the the living habitat of oceans are getting affected. So like this, the same concept, how the ocean water getting increases, temperature getting increases, how the living habitat in the ocean, living habitat are getting affected because of increasing the ocean temperatures. The same, the concept we are going to fix towards water. We are going to fix towards water. Atmospheric increasing temperature, because when the atmospheric temperature is going to increase, at the same time the heat waves are going to produce because of increasing the atmospheric temperature. At the particular point of time, the heat waves are going affected to the heat prone zone area. There are areas which governments are categorized as heat prone zone area. The area which is having a more heat during the summer month, especially when we take Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat, these areas are heat prone zone area. When we compare the May or June temperature, when these heat prone area to the southern state prone zone area, that there is the various difference between the temperature ranges. So during that particular time, the labor force participation in these areas are getting affected because of the heat waves. What I said, the sea livings are getting affected because of increasing the temperature of ocean or sea. Like that, if the atmospheric temperatures are getting increases, automatically atmospheric temperatures are going getting to produce towards the heat waves. That heat waves are going towards affected towards the heat zone prone area. The force participating in those areas, heat prone zone areas, are getting affected. What getting affected means, they are not going to participate it. Because of high heat, they are not able to keep up with their heat. So because of the various impact is going to generate. And if you compare the report, as the report of 1950, uh, from the year of 1950, the increasing of temperature is worst, because uh, the difference between 1950 to the present year is around 1 degree variations. Okay, that's what I mentioned here. In 1 degree since 1950, the variation is around 1 degree when compared to 1950's same days temperatures to the current 2022. and because of that, more than absolutely, it's people are going to affected because of heat wave, because they are not willing to participate in the labor force activities. That because of that, around 70,000 people are getting affected, not able to get their regular pay, and that they are not in get able to get the regular pay, which I mentioned. It was around 1.6 crores if it was continuous until this year 2070, because the 2070 we declared the Glasgow Declaration. Last year we declared around 2070 to 2050, that in between period we declared that we have to reduce the temperature 1.5 degrees Celsius in the pre-industrial level. Because of less power, labor participation, they are going to get lost their pay around 1.6 crore. So government need to take immediate steps to control these heat waves, and they have to contribute to more GDP on this impact. So we talk about the catastrophic stage. What are the impacts are catastrophic stages are getting? Catastrophic stages are getting, and the next one is we are going to discuss about the solution. The solution is the writing points. We are giving a suggestion to the government to take a immediate step to control these heat waves. Okay, so in this type of discussion, the general discussion about it is a geography related current affair issue. In this general discussion, the solution part is much more important, because in the solution part, we are going to concentrate right answer based upon the points which are mentioned in the solution part only. So let's see in the solution part. Promoting the water intensive farming, for example, drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is playing a key role in the last two decades, because getting the when we compare the losses which are gaining more losses because of more losses of water due of farming, intensive farming, we introduced the drip irrigation system. The drip irrigation system, we can gain able to adopt a sustainable water usage because of this drip irrigation. The government should be support, and the government already supporting the drip irrigation. The government should be impose the guideline policy to adapt the drip irrigation for small hold farmers, middle hold farmers, even for the large hold farmers. Okay, that was shows in the drip irrigation. And the stop is cultivating of multiple same crops in the same farmland. Okay, because soil conservation is essential thing. When we going to farm a more variety of crop in the same farm field, the automatically the minerals which is present in the soils are getting more affected. The soil conservation need at least a gap, it's around 6 months to 1 year. So the soil conservation have to be maintained. Because of you have to be confused with why I am talking about the soil education, comparing the soil education with the heat waves, because these are all correlative. Okay, when we talk about the soil conservation, that is correlated to the heat waves. Why it is correlating means the soil the soil conservation, if we not allowing the soil conservation means it's going to lead to a diversification. Automatically diversification, it's lose towards deforestation. Deforestation means the plants and trees are getting affected. Because of that, heat waves are getting increases. Because of the heat wave increases, the heat wave prone zone areas are going to increase. Everything is a directly proportional ratio. If once affected, once getting affected means automatically everything is going to affect. It is a cycle chain process. So that's why the conservation of soil is very much important when we have to be a sustainable or intensive farming. And let's the government have to introduce the map based vulnerable region, because once the large farm holders used to cultivate their farmland, it's around to more acres. At the same time, if that particular area is under the vulnerable region means automatically the flood is going to affect that area. Anyhow, they are insured their crop also means they are even go getting affected because of that, not knowing this particular area is vulnerable. Like if recently the Kerala government introduced the bird atlas, you right, like that the government should be introduce the vulnerable regions to avoid the farming in that particular area, like vulnerable map to avoid the farming in particular area. That should be government should be introduced. And the next step is environmental impact assessment report. Absolutely, you already know about environmental impact assessment report. Now what here the suggestion is to increase the environmental impact assessment report to all the commercial project. Now the environmental report assessment report, it's only for the areas those go the commercial project which are constructed in the any forest field. That is not important right up now because the climate is affecting more. So the government have to mandate this environmental impact assessment report to all the commercial project. At the same time, more peoples are getting affected because of this heat wave in the heat wave prone zone. In the heat wave prone zone area, the construction of buildings should be adopt and mandate the principle of aerodynamic air circulation. Here, if you see in this point, if you see this point, it shows some ideal suggestion, right? But it is not an ideal suggestion, it is a mandatory suggestion because there is a lot of aerodynamic principle circulation buildings are there in, if you see in any foreign country, especially the Scandinavian country used to build their construction by acceptance of aerodynamic air circulation. Because of this acceptance of aerodynamic circulations, they are going to reduce the heat wave inside the building, coming inside the building because of random air circulations. They have to satisfy the principle of aerodynamics. These kind of systems should be adopted in heat zone prone area. Absolutely, the last point is essential point. As of now, we are contributing 2.5% in the GDP. It's around 5 lakh crores in the climate change assessment. So, in the upcoming year, when we see the Glasgow, I already said it, the Glasgow Declaration is in 2070, right? So, when we have to achieve those kind of target means, we have to slightly increase our contribution of GDP towards 5%, 4% to 5% to adapt this stage. Okay, this was the solutions. So we discussed here the catastrophic stage and the various impact due to increasing the atmospheric climatic heat. It will automatically to produce the heat waves. Because of the heat waves, what are the impact we discussed, and after that, what are the solution we are going to suggest in our answer sheet. We are going to suggest these and all the solution to suggest we are going to suggest to the government. Okay. uh, this news I recently saw in the our News article. So I thought this can be a some correlated. We have to know the correlated concept of the climate change imperative, right? Because now the questions they are asking in an analytical based. Even for an static subject, they are going to anyhow asking the analytical based question. For the subject like a geography, history, they are going to take the question like these kind of discussed article. So let's go through this article once again, and you can be able to grasp some ideas from this article. Just remember that article, that is more enough to cope up the points, to cope up the answers need. Let's see in any other video. Thank you so much.